In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to add the keys, or push buttons as they're called, to the Qsys file and Quartus file project so that you can actually have them as interrupts as well. Instead of just a generic PIO, we're going to actually add them as an interrupt as well. So let's come in here, find our system that we have working, copy this system, rename it to System 5, and open up our Quartus project file. Alright, let's come in here and take a look. This is our system that we had previously before, with our switches, red LEDs, green LEDs, our keys, or not our keys, our reset, and our clock. So let's open up Qsys, choose our system that we want, and let's add a PIO. Parallel input output. But this time, instead of having we have 3 keys left over on the DE2 115, but I just want to interface with each individual key separately. So I'm going to use it width of 1 bit. It's an input device, and I want to synchronously capture at the falling edge. So when I press in, I want it to do it on the press out, because if I do it just on the press in, the keys aren't debounced, so I could get a bouncing effect with the key, and thus enabling 2 interrupts instead of 1 interrupt. So I want it on the falling edge, and I want to generate an IRQ, and I want this to be a level IRQ. And I don't want to enable bit clearing. You can enable this, and what it will do is it'll once you press it and runs the interrupt, it will clear for you, but it's opposite implementation in code, and the logic, I prefer the logic of without the automatic bit clearing. So this is all that we want. We can click finish. We can come over here, rename this, right click, rename, and we're going to name this key 3. We're going to work from our leftmost key to our rightmost key, which is key 3. I'm going to want to put an underscore in there. It's key underscore 3. Clock, we want to connect that clock. The reset, connect to both. So clock connect to our system clock. And our reset we want connected to the clock reset and the JTAG reset. S1 just the data master. We want to export our external connection. And we have to, our IRQ, we have to generate that priority. So right now we can see that we have 0 for our system clock timer, 8 for our JTAG. So we're going to make this one number 1. But now I have 2 more keys that I can potentially use that I want in there. So what I'm going to do, instead of going through and creating a new PIO, I'm going to right click on this key that we just set up, and I'm going to duplicate it. So it's going to come down here. Let's right click, rename, call this key 2, and then make all the same connections. So clock, go to system clock. We want the reset to the clock reset and the JTAG reset. S1 just to data master. Our external connection, we're going to double click to export that and make sure it's named key underscore 2. My IRQ, click over here, and it's going to automatically give us 2. So key 3 is the 1, key 2 is 2. And now that I have one more key, I'm going to right click and duplicate this key one more time as I mess up my window. Here we go. So I'm going to, since I just duplicated the key one more time, I'm going to rename this, right click, rename, and rename it key 1. I want my clock to the system clock, my reset to the clock reset and JTAG reset, S1 to just data master, external connection. I want to double click to export that, and I want to export as a key underscore 1. And my interrupt, I want set to key 3, or interrupt 3. Now, let's come take a look at all of our errors that we've accumulated down here. We can see key 3S1 overlaps in memory, and overlaps in memory for key 3, 2, and 1. And all of these are overlaps in memory. So those are easy to take care of. Let's lock our switches, which we added last time. Come up here to System, Assign Base Addresses, and there we go. And while we're at it, let's lock all 3 of these base addresses for the 3 keys that we just added. So now we have everything in here as we want it. We're going to come up to Generate HDL, Verilog, and create the block symbol file, and generate. Alright, we can see our generation was completely successful, no errors or warnings. So we can close and minimize Qsys. I want to come up here, delete our Nios II system, double click on the workspace, come up into System 5, Nios II system, find our block diagram file that we just generated. As we can see, we just generated this when it has our key 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's what we want. Come up here, line it up. Now, so our clock is our green LEDs with LED G. Oh, now these are not correct, so we're gonna delete these 3 things, but these 3 things are the same as these 3 things, so we're gonna select them and move them down. That way we keep our nice spacing and just reassign these with wires. Our switches to switches are reset to key 0. Our red LEDs to LEDR. And now these 3 are all blue, so they're all inputs. So we're going to need 3 inputs. Let's put 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. Escape to get out of adding pins. Alright, let's connect all 3 of these. And double click, and this is going to be key, open bracket, 1, close bracket. This is going to be key, open bracket, 2, close bracket. And this one will be key, all capitals, open bracket, 3, close bracket. Oops. Looks like I had a different kind of bracket there at the last one. I had the curly bracket instead of a straight bracket. Alright. Line all these up just to keep everything nice and neat. And everything looks good. So we're going to save this file real fast and then come up here to start compilation. Alright, we can see it says Quartus II full compilation was successful, 0 errors, 513 warnings. That's great. Just one more thing I'd like to point out. Each one of these keys can generate an interrupt. So now we have keys that could be used as just a key. As you just read the value, you can pull it, or you can press that key and it generates an interrupt. Up to your system if you want to use interrupts or not in your programming. It's up to you. This entire system and written documentation for the system can be found at fpga.seanwrl.com. You can go there and download it, as well as all the other previous lessons. So if you're confused a little bit and just seeing this lesson, you should go back and start with the first lessons and go through and increment you and walk you through this entire process.